Hello, and welcome to week one of PA211. We are talking and out of this book, Math for Meds. You should have this book coming to you very soon. If you don't, let me know. I want to make sure that you have your books. We're starting in chapter 12 this week, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about discussion. The discussion question is all about your opinion, about how you feel about math. So I can kind of get an idea of are we dealing with someone who is proficient in math, or are you scared of math, or do you have some problems with math? And of course, I'm always here for tutoring, so you let me know if you ever need me, and we can do some extra one-on-one tutoring. All right, so chapter 12, we're on page 164. You have an assignment also due this week. It is 10 questions. And again, if you love math, they will go very easy. They're almost all the same questions. So I wanted to cover just a couple of things about ratio and proportions. Let's just go right to what a ratio is. A ratio is an expression of a significant relationship between two numbers. A proportion is used to show the relationship between two ratios. So ratios, we're thinking about fractions. And then a proportion is maybe an equal sign between them. And so you can see on page 165 how that is labeled there. So ratios, known as a fraction. Proportion is how they react to each other, an equal sign between them. And so if you go through on page 166, they're going to give you an example. We use ratios like when you're breaking down problems. I love to put things in ratios because then I solve for x, and that's how I usually do my math problems. So for on example 1 on page 166, if a tablet contains 50 milligrams, 2 tablets will contain 100 milligrams. And we can figure this out if we just common sense it, but I would love to just see you work it. So if on your page, if you like work it out on hand and you want to then take a picture of it and send it to me on your assignment, that would be the best way, I think, to be able to show me your work. Okay, so you do 1 tablet is 50 milligrams on one side of your ratio, and that equals 2 tablets over 100 milligrams. So this is how we are showing it proportion to those ratio. So example 2, if 1 milliliter contains 50 milligrams, 2 milliliters will contain 100 milligrams. You can see how we've set that up. So here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to then take one of those numbers away. They're going to ask us if 1 milligram or 1 milliliter equals 10 units and 2 milligrams would equal how many units? And then we solve for x. And so you can see on page 167, it's asking you to do that mathematically and walking you through that. I love solving for x. It's like my favorite thing. You set it up, I solve for it. So it goes into that on page 168, how you can see that, oh, now I'm going to take one of those numbers out of that ratio, set it equal to the proportion, and you're going to solve for x. Cross multiply, solve for x, ratio and proportions. Okay, then there's some using colons. Do not get confused. On page 171, it says, okay, now let's use a colon instead of a fraction. It's still a fraction. It's just trying to mess you up. So if you want to rewrite it to a fraction, I always do that. Like on an exam, if I see it written as a colon, I'm like, I don't understand this. So I just write it 1 over 50, 2 over 100. That's how I make sure that that is broken down for me. So you can do that, almost the exact same kind of problems here. I'm just kind of skipping through chapter 12. Again, we're solving for x. We then get to page 179, and we're talking about dosages ordered in syringes and things like that. So you can actually see why we would need these ratio and proportions and why we need milliliters, milliequivalents, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of neat to see how you can real world it right here, basically, because we will have a lot of these drugs already ordered. Okay, so you can get through that. That's just a test. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but then you will be expected to do a quiz, and it will have some of the questions out of here, out of your book, asked on those quizzes. So you may use your book, you may use a calculator, Write out your work if you need to answer that quiz, and then also for your assignment, 10 questions as well. So let me know if you have any problems this week. I don't think you should. Discussion is pretty easy. It's your opinion. It's you telling me who you are, basically. And then reading chapter 12, which it goes by very quickly. So tell me about who you are, and if you like math, can't wait to meet you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.